So I thought, well, maybe an academic career would be a possibility. And I had, conversations with professors about what might be done, and they were encouraging. And so I thought, well, if I can write, then I might pursue this. And I found out that I couldn't write, at least not very well. And I was so pompous. I thought I was the smartest guy in the world. I thought I have all these advantages because I was in the military. So I have discipline and I have a goal and I show up to class and so on.
Yeah.
And I found out that, my intellectual work was good enough to get by, but that it didn't show the kind of promise that I needed to show if I wanted to be an academic stud. And I had a professor when I was a sophomore in an honors English class who just took me to task on my writing. And I was very shocked, first of all, that he took that much interest in me to push me around, which I really appreciated. And I went to talk to him, and he showed me what was wrong with my writing. And he said, you got to stop it with this pompous language, which of course I was living in the thesaurus because I thought that the way to write in a sophisticated manner was to use big vocabulary. And I loved vocabulary. I had lists and lists and lists of vocabulary that I studied because I came across all these words I didn't know and I wanted to know them. So I studied all these words. Well, then I wanted to use them, And he's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Classic mistake.
Yeah, exactly. So I wrote for him and he gave me a C+ on my first paper. And I thought, okay, Jeff, maybe you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
But I went to talk with him and I talked with him again and I talked with him again and I wrote 4 papers for him. And by the end, I got an A. On my last paper, I got an A. And I thought, okay, you have to take this writing way more seriously than you are. Okay. And from that point forward, every single thing I've ever written, Isaac, I'm telling you the truth, even to a certain extent, email, I've thought to myself, how can I write better? How can I write the greatest thing I've ever written? And sometimes I've come closer. I've made a closer approximation to excellence than others.
Yeah.
But I've always had that kind of commitment from that point forward.
To hear the rest of this interview and other great conversations about history or drugs or both, check out the History on Drugs podcast wherever you get your podcasts.